9 tortilla brands sit on UK shelves right now, and 7 of them are held together with palm oil, industrial preservatives, and an emulsifier with a name longer than this sentence. You've probably grown up thinking a tortilla is just flour, water, and salt, pressed flat and cooked in minutes. That hasn't been true on a UK supermarket shelf in years. Today, we're exposing the 7 brands you need to throw out immediately, then revealing the 2 that are genuinely safe, including 1 ingredient in a major brand that's often sourced from duck feathers or human hair. Let's kick off number 9. Number 9, Lidl tortilla wraps. On the surface, this looks like harmless budget shopping. Lidl has built its entire reputation on the idea that you don't need to overpay for a name. For a lot of what they sell, that's genuinely fair. But flip this pack over. You'll find one of the longest tortilla ingredient lists sold anywhere in the UK. After the 2 flours and water, you're already looking at palm oil. Then glycerol, used as a humectant to stop the wraps drying out. Then not 1 but 2 separate emulsifiers, including a compound called mono and diacetyl tartaric acid, esters of mono and diglycerides of fatty acids, a name so long it barely fits on the packaging in the small print. Then come 2 raising agents, an acidity regulator, 2 separate preservatives, potassium sorbate and calcium propionate, and a stabilizer called sodium carboxy methyl cellulose. That's before you even reach the flour treatment agent, L-cysteine, an amino acid used to make dough more elastic for industrial machinery. Depending on the manufacturer's source, it can come from duck feathers or human hair, something the label never has to specify. It's produced this way because it's cheaper than synthesizing it chemically at the volumes a supermarket supply chain needs. That's precisely why the ingredient is such a common sticking point for anyone trying to eat strictly vegetarian or vegan. You'd never know any of that from 4 capital letters and a hyphen sitting quietly near the bottom of the list. This isn't a shortcut recipe anymore. It's a formula engineered by food scientists to survive weeks on a shelf, not something built in a kitchen. To put that in perspective, a traditional homemade tortilla needs 4 ingredients. This pack needs 16. Most of them exist purely to solve problems created by mass production in the first place. Keeping the dough soft after weeks in transit, stopping it drying out under supermarket lighting, extending shelf life well past what a genuinely fresh product would ever need to survive between the factory floor and your kitchen counter. One shopper on a UK food forum described peeling apart a Lidl wrap and finding the texture more plastic than pastry. Another said they switched brands entirely after noticing the wraps barely changed shape or smell, even after being left open on the counter for several days, which is exactly what you'd expect from a product built to resist spoilage rather than to be eaten fresh. For 89 pence a pack, that works out to roughly 11 pence a wrap. You're not just saving money, you're buying a chemistry set shaped like a tortilla and calling it dinner. It's also worth understanding why palm oil turns up in almost every wrap on this list at all. It's cheap, it's solid at room temperature, which helps mass-produced dough hold its shape on a shelf. It has an extremely long shelf life compared with butter or genuine vegetable oils. None of that has anything to do with taste or nutrition. None of it is disclosed anywhere on the front of the pack. It's there purely because it makes industrial production easier and cheaper. It's the same reason it shows up in everything from biscuits to margarine to instant noodles. Once you learn to spot it, you start seeing it everywhere, from the biscuit aisle to the bread bin to the freezer section, all quietly relying on the same cheap oil to keep costs down and shelf life up, regardless of what it does to flavor or nutrition. But if you think a discount supermarket cutting corners on a budget product is predictable, wait until you see what's hiding under the poshest own label range in the entire country. Number 8. Waitrose Essential Tortilla Wraps. Waitrose built its whole reputation on trust. It's the supermarket people specifically choose because they believe the quality bar sits higher across every single aisle. And to be fair, if you're buying Dutchy Organic, that trust is earned. Real organic flour, a genuinely different product from anything else on this list. But the essential range tells an entirely different story. Fortified wheat flour, water, palm oil, a humectant listed as vegetable glycerol. 2 raising agents, sugar, an emulsifier, citric acid, salt, and the preservative calcium propionate. Strip away the branding and the calm, understated packaging design. This is functionally identical to the cheapest own-brand wraps sold at Aldi or Lidl. No cold-pressed oils, no reduced additive count. Nothing here reflects the premium price you're paying elsewhere in that same shop. It raises an obvious question worth asking out loud. If Waitrose can source genuinely different ingredients for its organic range, why does the essential range default straight back to palm oil and calcium propionate? Why not something closer to the standard the rest of the shop is built on? The honest answer is cost. Essential exists to compete on price against Aldi and Lidl. Competing on price in this category means reaching for the same cheap oils and preservatives every discount brand relies on, regardless of which supermarket's logo ends up on the front. This is the exact same trick we've seen play out across UK supermarkets in biscuits, bread, and ice cream. A genuinely premium range sitting on the same shelf as a budget formulation, both wearing the same trusted logo on the front. One commenter online summed it up well. They said they only realized the essential range was basically own-brand filler dressed in nicer typography once they actually sat down and read past the front of the pack. Another pointed out that a pack of these costs almost the same as a pack of Aldi's cheapest own-label wraps, meaning you're not even getting a discount for buying the version with fewer additives because there isn't one. You're simply paying Waitrose prices for an Aldi ingredient list. If you're buying Waitrose because you trust the name on the packet, that trust does not automatically extend to every single product wearing it. The essential range is proof of exactly that gap. If this kind of investigation is exactly the sort of thing you want more of, now is the moment to subscribe. This channel exists to go through the ingredients other channels won't, brand by brand, aisle by aisle. Subscribing means you won't miss the next brand breakdown, because we've barely scratched the surface of what's sitting on these shelves. If you're wondering whether the mainstream, middle-of-the-road supermarkets do any better than a discount chain or a posh one, the answer might disappoint you even more. Number 7, Sainsbury's Daily's wholemeal tortilla wraps. The word wholemeal does a lot of psychological heavy lifting on a supermarket shelf. It signals fiber, whole grains, a genuinely healthier choice than the plain white version sitting right beside it. But wholemeal only ever refers to the flour used. It says nothing whatsoever about everything else a manufacturer adds once that flour hits the industrial mixing vat. On this pack, wholemeal wheat flour is followed immediately by water, then palm oil, then a humectant, more fortified flour to bulk things out, sugar, 2 raising agents, an emulsifier, calcium propionate as a preservative, and citric acid as an acidity regulator. The wholemeal label creates what nutritionists call a health halo. The rest of the ingredient list simply doesn't back that halo up. You're still eating palm oil and a chemical preservative in every single wrap, just with slightly more fiber attached to distract you from that fact. One reviewer online put it bluntly. They said they bought these specifically because they assumed wholemeal meant clean and felt genuinely misled once they actually checked the small print for themselves. Another compared the ingredient panel directly to the plain white version sold on the same shelf. I found the additive list was virtually identical, just with a different flour swapped in at the top. That's not a health food sitting on your plate. That's a marketing word doing a job the actual ingredients simply can't back up. It's a pattern worth remembering the next time any wrap, bread, or cracker leans on the word wholemeal to justify a higher price. There's also the preservative itself worth pausing on. Calcium propionate is generally recognized as safe by UK and EU food regulators at the levels used here, but some research has raised questions about its effects when combined with other additives. A number of people have reported headaches or irritability after eating products containing it. Though the evidence connecting the two remains limited and disputed, it's not a reason to panic. It is a reason to at least know it's there every time you eat a wrap from this brand. Now, if a health-branded product can quietly hide the same additive system as a plain one, what happens when an entire supermarket range is branded around the idea of freshness? instead. Number 6. Asda the Bakery White Wraps. The bakery branding is designed to make you picture something baked fresh that very morning, rolled out by hand, delivered straight from an oven to the shelf. What you're actually getting is fortified wheat flour, water, palm oil, glycerol, 2 raising agents, sugar, an emulsifier, citric acid, salt, calcium propionate as a preservative, wheat starch, and L-cysteine as a flour treatment agent. That last one deserves a second look. It's added specifically to make industrial dough more elastic and easier to machine process at massive scale. Depending on sourcing, it can come from animal-derived or synthetic origin, a detail the label is under no obligation to disclose, so the wrap sold to you under a warm, artisan-sounding name is manufactured using the exact same industrial toolkit as every other mass-produced tortilla on that shelf, just packaged with a name specifically chosen to make you forget that fact. There is no actual bakery involved anywhere in this process. These wraps are produced on the same high-speed industrial lines as everything else on this list, then shipped to stores in sealed, protective atmosphere packaging designed to survive weeks in transit before it ever reaches a shelf. The word bakery is doing exactly what wholemeal did 2 brands ago, creating an impression the ingredient list does absolutely nothing to support. At roughly 18 pence per wrap, it's genuinely cheap, but cheap and fresh baked are 2 entirely different promises. This pack only ever delivers on the first one, no matter how warm the branding sounds. And here's where it gets more cynical still, because the next brand isn't hiding behind a bakery name, it's hiding behind your children's lunchbox. Number 5. Asda Seeded Wraps. This pack leans hard into the health-conscious parent market. Golden linseeds, brown linseeds, and poppy seeds sitting proudly across the front of the packaging design. Seeds mean fiber, omega-3 fatty acids, the kind of ingredient that makes a wrap feel like a genuinely better choice for a school lunchbox. But those mixed seeds make up just 3% of the total product weight. The base underneath is wholemeal wheat flour, fortified wheat flour, water, palm oil. The same humectant, the same 2 raising agents, sugar, the same emulsifier, citric acid, salt, and calcium propionate as a preservative. You are paying a premium price for a light sprinkle of seeds sitting on top of the exact same processed base used in the plain white version sold a few shelves along. One parent commenting on a parenting forum said they'd been buying these for over a year. They genuinely believed the seeds made a real nutritional difference, only to realize once they compared labels side by side that the extra cost was buying almost nothing beyond decoration. Another pointed out that 3% is barely enough seeds to notice in a single bite, let alone enough to meaningfully shift the fiber or omega-3 content of the wrap as a whole. 3% seeds does not undo a formula built on palm oil and a chemical preservative. It just gives you something reassuring to point to on the packet. While the actual base underneath, the part making up 97% of what you're actually eating, stays exactly the same as the version with no seeds at all. This is a tactic that shows up across the entire supermarket, not just in wraps. A small percentage of a genuinely healthy ingredient gets added to a formula that hasn't otherwise changed. The packaging gets redesigned to lead with that ingredient, and the price goes up to match the new positioning. The seeds are real. The health story built around them is doing far more work than 3% of anything reasonably should. If this is the kind of practical knowledge you want more of, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who need to see what's actually inside their family's lunchbox. It puts real pressure on these brands to stop leaning on packaging tricks instead of actually changing the recipe. Number 4. Mission Original Tortilla Wraps. Mission markets itself as a family company, baking quality tortillas since 1949, building on an authentic recipe rooted in the heart of Mexico. That heritage story sells, and it's designed to. What it conveniently leaves out is that Mission is owned by Groomer, one of the largest food manufacturing conglomerates on the planet. The wraps sold on UK shelves are actually made in Coventry, not Mexico, at an industrial facility built to serve the entire European market. To Mission's genuine credit, the UK formula avoids palm oil entirely, using rapeseed oil instead. The overall ingredient count is shorter than most of the competitors on this list, but it still contains glycerol as a humectant and emulsifier, sodium carbonates as a raising agent. and 2 separate preservatives, potassium sorbate and calcium propionate. You're paying a brand premium, often close to double the price of an own label pack sitting right next to it, for a product that still relies on the exact same core preservative system as the supermarket wraps sold beside it. One long-time buyer commenting online said they'd always assumed the extra cost of mission over an own label pack meant they were avoiding preservatives entirely. They were surprised to find both potassium sorbate and calcium propionate listed once they actually checked. If the heritage story is real, the recipe genuinely does trace back decades. The Coventry factory genuinely does bake these fresh. But the idea that any of that makes this meaningfully different from the cheaper alternatives on the same shelf simply isn't true once you compare the ingredient panels side by side. Gruma itself is worth knowing about. It isn't a small family operation by any modern measure. It's a multinational corporation with manufacturing plants across Europe, the Americas, and Asia, supplying tortillas and corn flour to restaurant chains and supermarkets on almost every continent. Mission is simply the consumer-facing name UK shoppers see on the shelf. The family company framing on the packaging isn't false, but it's telling you a small fraction of the actual story behind who profits from every pack you buy, and how far that story travels from the cozy, homespun image on the front of the bag. So if the single biggest name in this entire category still can't escape the preservative aisle, what does that tell you about a wrap specifically marketed as the more traditional, more authentic choice? Number 3, Asda corn tortilla wraps. Corn tortillas carry a built-in authenticity halo. The idea that you're getting closer to how tortillas were traditionally made long before industrial wheat-based wraps took over supermarket shelves across the country. This pack tries hard to lean into that story right down to a dusting of paprika oil added purely for color. But look at the actual ingredient list. Fortified wheat flour still comes first, ahead of the corn flour, followed by water, vegetable oils including both rapeseed and palm, a humectant, sugar, an emulsifier, wheat gluten, 2 separate acidity regulators, 2 preservatives, potassium sorbate and calcium propionate, salt, a raising agent, a stabilizer called guar gum, paprika oil, added flavoring, and a flour treatment agent. That's 14 separate additions layered onto what should be one of the simplest foods on earth. The paprika oil and added flavoring exists specifically to compensate for a corn flavor that's already been diluted down by all the wheat flour used to bulk out the recipe and cut costs. A genuine corn tortilla needs corn flour, water, and lime. This one needs 14 additions just to imitate that taste using mostly wheat. One shopper who left a review online said they bought this pack specifically looking for something closer to an authentic Mexican corn tortilla. They were disappointed to find wheat flour listed as the very first ingredient ahead of the corn. Another pointed out that a genuine corn tortilla should taste faintly sweet and slightly nutty from the corn itself, but this one tasted almost entirely of the paprika oil added on top, which is a strong sign that the base underneath has very little actual corn flavor left to carry. This isn't a more traditional wrap standing apart from the rest of the shelf. It's the exact same industrial formula, just wearing a corn tortilla costume. There's a broader lesson buried in this one specifically. Adding a single, traditional-sounding ingredient to an otherwise unchanged industrial recipe is one of the oldest tricks in supermarket formulation. It works precisely because most shoppers never make it past the first 3 or 4 words on the ingredients panel before deciding a product looks authentic enough to trust. Here's the part you've actually been waiting for, because 2 brands sold in this country prove none of this has to be the industry standard. Before we get there, here's the quick rule that ties everything you've just seen together. A genuine tortilla only ever needs flour, water, oil, and salt. If the ingredient list runs past 6 or 7 items, put it back. If you see palm oil anywhere in the first 5, put it back. If you spot the words preservative, humectant, or emulsifier followed by a compound name longer than the sentence you're reading right now, put it back. These two final brands pass that test completely. Number 2, Zinder Foods Air Wraps. This is a genuinely different product built specifically as a reaction against everything you've just watched us uncover. 5 ingredients: wheat flour, sunflower oil, sugar, salt, and water. No palm oil, no industrial preservatives, no trans fats, no glycerol of unknown or undisclosed origin, no chemical stabilizers hiding behind long compound names. Compare that directly to the Lidl pack we started with. 16 ingredients against 5. You start to see just how much of what's in a typical tortilla exists purely to serve the manufacturing process, rather than the person eventually eating it. The brand was founded specifically to prove that a commercially viable, shelf-stable tortilla doesn't need any of the additive system every other brand on this list depends on. The ingredient panel backs that claim up completely. One buyer reviewing the product online said it was the first wrap they'd found in years that didn't leave that strange, slightly coated feeling in their mouth afterwards. The exact texture complaint that keeps surfacing again and again around the additive-heavy brands further up this list. Another buyer said their children genuinely noticed the difference in taste. They asked why it was less rubbery than the wraps they'd grown up eating, without being told anything about what was different in the ingredients. Its whole reason for existing is worth sitting with for a moment. It wasn't built by a giant conglomerate looking to add another product line to an already crowded portfolio. It was built by people who looked at exactly the ingredient lists we've just gone through together and decided the industry standard simply wasn't good enough to accept as normal any longer. It costs noticeably more than an own label pack. Making a wrap from 5 real ingredients instead of 15 manufactured ones genuinely does cost more to produce at scale. It isn't being subsidized by cheap palm oil the way almost everything else on this list is, but for the first time on this entire list, that price difference is actually buying you something real, not just a cleaner looking label wrapped around the same industrial formula. Number 1, Cool Chile Camu Corn Tortillas. If you specifically want a proper corn tortilla, not the wheat-heavy imitation sold by Asda, this is the brand for you. UK shoppers keep independently recommending it across food forums as one of the only genuinely clean options available anywhere in the country. The ingredient list stays close to what corn tortillas have used for centuries. Corn flour, known traditionally as masa harina, water, a small amount of lime used in a process called nixtamalization that makes the corn nutritionally available and digestible in the first place, and salt. No palm oil, no preservatives, no emulsifiers, no added flavoring brought in to mask a taste that's already been diluted down. Multiple shoppers on UK food forums have named this brand specifically when asked where to find a genuinely additive-free tortilla. It's one of the only widely available options that consistently comes up, usually alongside a comment along the lines of "finally, one that doesn't need a chemistry degree to understand." This is what a corn tortilla was always supposed to be before an industrial supply chain got involved. It stands as proof that this entire category doesn't actually need 14 additives just to hold together on a shelf. If Cool Chili Coats can sell a stable, genuinely tasty corn tortilla with 4 ingredients, every other brand on this list choosing not to is a choice, not a necessity. And if you want to go one step further than even this, making your own corn tortillas at home is genuinely simple. Masa harina, warm water, and a pinch of salt. Mixed, rested, pressed flat between 2 sheets of greaseproof paper and cooked for under a minute per side on a dry, hot pan. No packaging, no preservatives, no shelf life to worry about. It costs a fraction of what any packet on a supermarket shelf will ever charge you. Across every single brand on this list, the pattern repeats in almost the same order every time. A reassuring word on the front of the pack, palm oil, or a preservative buried somewhere in the middle of the list. A price that has absolutely nothing to do with how clean the ingredients actually are. Once you've spotted that pattern once, you start spotting it on every shelf in the shop, not just the wrap aisle. So the next time you're standing in the wrap aisle, flip the pack over before it goes anywhere near your basket. Ask yourself whether palm oil, calcium propionate, and an emulsifier with a 9-word name are genuinely what you want holding your dinner together. Ask yourself whether you're buying a tortilla or buying a manufactured product that's simply wearing a tortilla's name, dressed up in whichever word, wholemeal, bakery, seeded, or corn, happened to test best with shoppers that year. If this video changed changed how you'll shop this week, share it with the person in your life who still thinks any wrap is a healthy option purely because the label says wholemeal. Share it with the parent packing seeded wraps into a lunchbox, believing it's the healthier choice. Share it with the friend who's always reaching for whichever pack has the nicest packaging without ever once turning it over. Leave a comment telling us which food we should investigate next, because there is always more hiding behind the packaging than the front of the pack wants you to see. 9 brands, 1 aisle, and only 2 of them earned your trust. Honestly, that's not a coincidence, and it's not going to change until enough people start asking why. Click the next video showing on the left to keep learning exactly what's really in your kitchen. Until then, read your labels, demand better, and protect your plate.